I have been living with this updated 2027 Chrysler Pacifica for 20 states and over 3,000 miles. And in this video, I will give you the 5 things that stand out to me as to why you would want to shop this 2027 Chrysler Pacifica. The first and most obvious reason why I would pick a 27 Pacifica over all prior years is the updated styling. This is the second time this platform has gotten a facial reconstructive surgery with a new grille front clip. You can see we have these updated piano key-like running lights, turn signals, LED headlights, and this new illuminated Chrysler logo. This is the new Chrysler logo you will see on all Chrysler vehicles, which for 2027 is just this Pacifica, but there are more on the way that look to be affordable crossovers that you may want to shop for. In addition to the new face, we also get new wheel designs. Our limited all-wheel drive has these optional 20-inch wheels that are very nicely styled, and I think my favorite of the entire lineup of wheel options in the 27 Pacifica. These are wrapped in some 20-inch Pirelli P0 all-season tires that are self-healing, so no spare in this particular model.
I just put my screen protector on this Ford screen. I'll put a link down below, screenprotect/Tim. You get 15% off this screen protector. Put it on here and the dash here. Keeps these screens nice. Actually covers up scratches as well if you have an older truck. And I really like them. It's a nice way to protect your screen from scratches, and it puts a nice cover on there so keeps dust off, fingerprints off. Big fan of these screens. Again, screenprotect/Tim.
The profile of the 27 Pacifica is largely unchanged since this vehicle went on sale and since it had its original face up front. Aside from a little bit of that front clip you can see from the side and the new wheel designs, there really isn't a lot to set the side view apart from prior year models. The rear of the Pacifica has not seen a lot of change either, but it is capped off by the new logo being on the tail back here. This one does also have kicked open hands-free rear liftgate, which makes it very easy to get in the back when you have your hands full. And there are some unique features of this particular tester, including the optional rear cargo tubs that you can see are angled to fit perfectly behind the rear seat here. They're also wearing the old Chrysler logo, but we won't hold that against Chrysler too much for not updating their parts catalog right as this new model goes on sale. Once you get all 3 of those out, it is a simple 1-2 pull process to fold the 60-40 split 3rd row seat down into the floor. Now we have a lot of cargo space back here, and there's an even better trick that I will show you in a later step of the process here, because there really is a lot to like with the overall interior configurability here on the Pacifica. But if you are in need of more seats, it is very simple to, with one pull, get those rear seats put back in place and ready for some passengers. And then, yes, I can put my cargo tubs back in here and we are good to go. Another option upgrade for the 27 model year is the adjustable height rear cargo. So you have this button here on the side to open and close the power hatch back here in the back. But if you are worried about low heights in parking garages, you can simply put it in its proper position, push and hold this button until it beeps, and then it remembers exactly where you had it. That is a new feature for 2027. So as we close it, I can come back here, open it back up, and it's going to remember just where I had it to make sure that we don't open it too far. But yes, that's a little low for me at 5'10", so I'm going to put it back in its highest position and set the memory right there. Other features back here that I like, well, we do have the additional power port back here and a cigarette lighter style plug. And then there's what's hiding behind this panel, but we'll get to that a little bit later. The second reason I would consider a Chrysler Pacifica minivan over the 3 competitors would be what lies underneath this hood. Not only do we get Chrysler's Pentastar 3.6-liter V6 engine, but this particular one is equipped with all-wheel drive. There is only one other all-wheel drive minivan on sale here in the US, and that is the hybrid 4-cylinder powered Toyota Sienna. But that Toyota Sienna does not have a drive shaft going from the engine to the rear axle. It makes its all-wheel drive power through an electronic motor placed on that rear axle. This is more tried and true with a drive shaft going to the rear wheels from this Pentastar V6. So if you want a more old school, tried and true approach to your all-wheel drive minivan, this one's it. The other two options in the class, the V6 or hybrid 4-cylinder powered Kia Carnival and the V6 only, front-wheel drive only Honda Odyssey minivan. So yes, this is a very unique system within the entire segment. Now, in addition to the power sliding back doors, there is a lot to like for the back 2 rows here in the Pacifica minivan for a family vehicle. Yes, we have a button here to open the door. We have a lever here to open the door, multiple ways on the exterior door handle and on the key fob to open the doors. But moving inside, you can see plenty of room, chair-like seating position. We do have a recline. We have 2 armrests on either side. It is very comfortable back here for rear seat passengers. I also have air vents with rear seat air controls placed right over there. So ceiling mounted air vent right here above me, keeping me cool, and plenty of room for rear facing car seats back here in the back. And with the placement of this air vent right above me, even on hot summer days like today, a kid in a rear facing car seat still gets good airflow, which is a big win. There's a lot to like back here all the way around for older kids as well. We have USB-A and USB-C power ports on the backs of both front seats. Our particular tester does not have the optional rear seat entertainment, which is something that could be missing, but due to certain packaging changes, there is something that we will talk about later that is still an option here on this 27 Pacifica, even without the rear entertainment screens. I also have a pull-out center console drawer on the back of the center console here with a couple of cup holders, making it very easy for me to get a drink here in the back seat as well. Lots of configurability, but that's not all for this Pacifica, because this has class exclusive stow and go second row seats. So I do have to push a button on the back of the B pillar here to move the front seat out of the way. Our particular tester is also equipped with the all-weather floor mats that get in the way for this particular feature, but I can simply lift up the floor once all of that is taken out of the way. There is a giant well here in the floor, and our model has these optional in-floor storage bins. Again, another nice cargo convenience. But if I don't want this seat here, I simply pull one strap and the stow and go seat goes nicely here into the floor and tucks away out of sight, out of mind once I get all of the all-weather floor mats out of the way. It is a very unique option for the segment. Everybody else is going to super long sliding second row seats, or the Honda Odyssey with its bench seat with multiple configurations. Chrysler lets you just put them in the floor and forget about them completely, giving you better access to that third row of seats. And when we get back here, this third row of seats is not butt on floor either. You can see my knees are not underneath my chin. There's a lot to like back here with reclining seat backs. We have USB-A power. We have built-in sunshades here on these back windows and on the second row windows, and some cup holders on the passenger side, but a feature here on the driver's side that I want to bring you in closer to see. So the fourth reason you may consider a 2027 Chrysler Pacifica is built in right here on the driver's side rear wheel well. It is the Stow and Vac third row vacuum cleaner that can reach the entire vehicle. In fact, this cord is so long, you can see just how far away from the van I can get. So yes, this hose does reach the entire van. And then behind this panel, we do have a couple of different attachments for cleaning up your minivan. You can see I've added the carpet attachment, and now I can clean up all the debris I've brought in since returning home from our 3,000-mile road trip. I can get those carpet lines if I really want them. But yes, I can clean up the inside of my Chrysler Pacifica thanks to Stow and Vac. And now that I've shown you the Stow and Vac vacuum, I can show you what's behind this panel here in the rear. It is the Stow and Vac receptacle for all the dirt and debris you vacuum up in your minivan. You can see we have a paper filter, and then we have just an empty bin for all the dirt and debris we've accumulated. So we can simply pour that out and slide this container back in its receptacle, lock it into place, and now we are free to clean and vacuum out our minivan once more. Very nice feature on the 27 Pacifica. And yes, I know built-in vacuums are not unique to the Pacifica, but it is a really nice option, and the cleanup process is also equally as easy as it is to vacuum out the interior of your Pacifica. We are moving inside here to talk about what has been like living with this Pacifica, and to show you a few other features that are best demonstrated while on the move. This is not new right here. The dial for your automatic transmission, it is very conveniently placed right here next to all these other dials for volume, tuning, and fan speed. But I think it's very obvious it does something different than all of those, especially being larger and a different color. But as I get out to turn here on this street, 360 cameras showing off in full glory for you right here. We have Park Sense enabled 360 cameras that come on when you get close to an object. And then we have blind spot cameras that come on when you put your blinkers on in either direction, all of which are new for the 2027 model year and are built into our infotainment screen here. Now, this is not a perfect execution because we're asking a lot of this screen. Not only does it do all of my CarPlay duties here right now, but you can see we also have our home row of buttons down here. It's our climate control, even though we have physical redundant controls down here. It's our media controls. It's a lot of stuff, including vehicle controls, all built into the screen. And as soon as you put your blinker on, well, all of that goes away. But there are more features to this screen, including FamCam, a camera built into the roofline back in the back, or the ceiling back in the back, so I can see all 5 seats behind me. I can even zoom in on each particular one while we are driving down the road. And thanks to the fact that we do have a panoramic roof, it is actually situated behind the second row of seats. So if I did have a child in a rear-facing car seat, I could actually see those children's faces on this FamCam. So I actually do like the placement of that for younger children. For older children, well, you just get to watch what they're doing on their tablets from the screen here. So there are some benefits to the camera placement, even as children get older. But when you are on this screen, don't count on your blind spot cameras on coming up, because, well, that's all you get to do when you're on FamCam. You don't get any of your other controls, your heated, your ventilated seats. None of that is accessible when looking at FamCam. So you have to turn that off, go back to these screens, which you can see you've got all your shortcuts all the way around here. In fact, if you're messing with your climate shortcuts here, which is the easiest way to get to your ventilated seats, they go away when you put your blinker on. So yeah, there's just a little bit of too much going on here on the screen. We are asking a whole lot of this single screen here. And we've tested vehicles from Stellantis, the Ram 1500, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer, that have screens like everywhere you look. And because we basically have a carryover interior here on this 27 Pacifica, we don't get extra screens for the passenger or anywhere else. That could really help alleviate all the heavy lifting we're asking this center screen to do. I do have a digital screen here in between my 2 analog gauges, but something tells me the hardware is not capable for showing me those blind spot views on this camera here in front of me, or this screen here in front of me. So yeah, we are asking a lot of this singular screen here in the center of the vehicle. Now you can opt for more screens in the back seats, but that is another new addition or subtraction, depending on how you look at it, here for 2027. The FamCam system is no longer tied to the rear entertainment package, which means for around $1,500, you can now get FamCam without having to opt for even more screens of the rear entertainment system. So that makes FamCam a more affordable, easier price point to get into, to have eyes on those kiddos back there. And yeah, you don't have to have built-in screens if you're kind of anti-screen as a parent. So yes, a lot of benefits all the way around. They've made FamCam way more accessible, both financially and throughout the model lineup, which I think is a huge win. Other things, we have put a lot of miles, over 3,000 miles on this particular Pacifica. I'd say it rides very well. We have those optional 20-inch wheels outside that don't distract too much from overall road noise. They don't create a lot of noise here on the inside, and they aren't super uncomfortable on broken pavement. They look good and they ride well. They do have self-healing tires, so you don't have to worry about a flat, but you also don't get a spare tire anywhere here in this Pacifica. Overall driving characteristics, the 3.6 liter Pentastar V-6 is decently powered, and our particular model has all-wheel drive. In my 20 plus states in this Pacifica, there are some trade-offs between each of the 4 minivans in this segment, but I think the Chrysler Pacifica really nails all of them quite well. It is a great blend of interior practicality with the stow and go seats, the stow and vac, the FamCam, the great outward visibility that I've barely even touched on here, but yes, the windows are nicely sized all the way around. That window back there in a Toyota Sienna is about that big. Here, definitely not a problem seeing out of it. So great visibility all the way around, great interior packaging and configurability with the class exclusive stow and go seats, great interior features like stow and vac, my screen, my visibility through my additional cameras. It all does it very nicely. And with that Pentastar V6, gets over 20 mpg over our 3,000 miles of testing. Oh, and here's a quick bonus. Yes, in over 3,000 miles, we experienced a lot of rain, and both front seats have an umbrella holder right next to the front seat between that and the door opening. Yes, water does pool and collect in these channels, but that's sort of the point. You don't want it soaking into your carpet and making your minivan smell musty, right? I'd say this really is a great vehicle all the way around. But the 3 other competitors in the segment also do other things a little bit better than this one. So if you want to know more about all the vehicles that this competes against, be sure and subscribe to the We Talk Cars YouTube channel and follow along with us over at wetalkcars.com. As for me, behind the wheel of the 2027 Chrysler Pacifica, I will see you down the road.